Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. We're discussing something fantastic for all you basketball fans out there. All you players, everyone who wants to be associated with this fantastic sport is really going to enjoy what we're going to tell you, because Pakistan is looking at a great future ahead for basketball. We've got phenomenal talent, and the grassroots work being done by the Federal Basketball Association has been always superb. And you talk about the federation itself, they've done everything they can to not only make sure that Pakistan harnesses the true potential of the young talent we have in this country, but at the same time give them international exposure, give them the standards of training that are required to compete at the international level. So we're going to be introducing you to some very fine gentlemen who are instrumental in this entire process. But before we do that, we've got a report on this. Take a look.
In a major boost for Pakistani basketball, Coaching and Training Institute of Sports USA and the Federal Basketball Association have teamed up to launch an international training camp in Islamabad, and the impact is already being felt. Renowned CTI coaches like Luke Elie and Jacob Kim are in town.
Hey Jacob, are you ready for Pakistan? See ya. We're almost there.
Leading an intensive camp from April 17th to April 28th, helping shape the next generation of basketball talent. But this isn't just about training youth athletes, it's about building a future. 5 local coaches are also receiving advanced training from the American experts, ensuring that this momentum doesn't stop when the camp ends. All of this is happening at the state-of-the-art indoor facility at Bahria University, thanks to their strong support and infrastructure. The program was made possible by the efforts of FBBA General Secretary Ouj E Zahoor, and it reflects the broader vision of Pakistan Basketball Federation to make basketball a key sport across the country. This CTI FBBA collaboration is more than a camp. It's a game changer for youth basketball in Pakistan.
Well, there you have it, a fantastic report that gives us the entire details. Of course, we get to know about this entire prospect as well. So, of course, this report has once again given us what I've been talking about. The fact still remains that, it's about bringing international standards to Pakistan. And if we're able to achieve that, we're able to bridge that gap. I think that report almost highlights everything we're going to be talking about today. So thank you very much for that report to Muniba, Iman and Laiba, who give us all the details in this report that we talk about. Now, of course, introducing these fantastic gentlemen who will be talking more on the technical bits of this training program as well. We're very honored, first of all, to be joined by somebody who happens to be the founder and director of Coaches Team International, a non-profit organization dedicated to using basketball and other sports to break down barriers, based in South Korea. He also has been instrumental in organizing these training camps across Asia, and now we talk about Pakistan in the federal capital Islamabad, also serving as the head coach at East Asia Elite and working with the Seoul International Basketball League as well. We're very honored to be joined by Luke Elie. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. How are you, Luke?
Oh, wa alaikum assalam. Did I say that correctly?
Absolutely fine.
All right. I am doing great, by the way, and we're just very happy to be here, and we're very excited to be hosted by you and this awesome nation here of Pakistan that I'm very excited to be a part of.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us. Also joining us is somebody who happens to be the key player over here. When you talk about, the MVPs, he's certainly there, and he's made this all possible as well. And, when you talk about the helm of affairs at the Federal Basketball Federation, this gentleman has, I think, truly carried this torch of not only, like I said, promoting talent, harnessing their true potential, but at the same time making sure that we're competing with the international standards, so we're not very far behind. Joining us is Mr. Ouj E Zahoor. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to Sports Extra. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, and thank you very much for having us on this program. As you're aware that we've been organizing several development programs in Islamabad. We have a lot of potential. Pakistan is one of those countries which is rich in potential, especially sports. And our goal is, under the vision of the President and the Secretary General of Pakistan Basketball Federation, we are working towards those lines where ultimately Pakistan team will come up to a certain level where we can be named amongst the top nations in the country, in the world. We have a long way to go, and a lot of effort is needed, and these are the first steps that we've taken.
Certainly. Well, congratulations to you. I think although that this camp has a lot of promise to it, but I think congratulations are in order. Also joining us is the man himself. I think somebody who happens to be a former collegiate basketball player as well, who has played for the Moody Archers during the 18-19 season, hailing from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, currently involved with CTI Sports, contributing his skills as well. Very honored to be joined by Jacob Kim. Assalamu alaikum, Jacob. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here. For, I guess, the people that love Korea. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 김태웅입니다. Yeah, but just been really enjoying being here, really enjoying the culture, and just super excited to see what we have in store for the rest of this week.
Certainly. Jacob, as a player yourself, I always talk about this aspect with a lot of players, that the transformation from a player to a person who will now be using his skills to teach the young generation is a very, very technical transition.
It is.
So how have you found it, as a player yourself, and how do you believe that you can now better connect with this younger lot?
Yeah, I think for me, transitioning from a player to being a coach, one of the biggest things that I've realized and what I've noticed is just specifically going from a player to a coach, you get to realize a little bit more of the player's tendencies and diving deeper into that and going deeper and deeper, and you get to see what can help these students do better in the sports that they're doing, and especially driving that passion they have for whether it's basketball, volleyball, or any other sports that they do. It's easier to connect with them and easier to kind of like push them and challenge them to just be better in what they do.
Certainly. Ouj E Zahoor Saab, when we talk about this entire program now, as you were mentioning before the show as well, that you have certain partners who've been very, very instrumental in providing the necessary logistics and infrastructure to make this program a success as well. So do tell us about this.
We reached out to Beria University and they graciously offered to support us, and this program has been very successful at Beria University because they are providing not only with the facility, refreshment, security for our coaches, and they are actively involved. They have also allowed some of their own students and their coaches to be a part of this program, so that this whole learning process, which is going to complete in the next couple of days, will continue through local coaches. So they have been very instrumental in supporting us. There have been other bodies. Pakistan Sports Board has been very supportive with us in the past, but this time we focused on the universities because this is where the younger lot is. This is where we can attract more people. And one of the most surprising thing was that besides the students and besides the young players who are between the age of 16 to 21 who are actively taking part in this training activity, there's a huge fan base. There are a lot of people who come in to see the practice, and they are enticed and they are intrigued by how these young guys are being trained and how they are physically improving themselves. So this will not only encourage the outsiders to join active sports, but also popularize the game more in our in the city of Islamabad.
Absolutely. Luke, as the founding father of CTI Sports, I must say, it almost sounds nostalgic, Luke, then father, Darth Vader and Star Wars kind of stuff going on. But, yeah. So, what was the vision behind this? Because obviously you've conducted multiple trainings across Asia and now you bring it to Pakistan. So what is the whole dynamic that, the vision that goes into this?
So I've always, growing up in a family, we always believed in using our gifts and passions to help make the world a better place. And when I was trying to figure out what my purpose in life was, I realized I had a gift for basketball, and I knew that I need to use this some way, somehow. And I realized early on that it started with little things, obviously, but then I tell people we started off CTI as an organization to get into North Korea, which was a very difficult country to get into. And then eventually that turned into China, and that turned into Myanmar, it turned into countries all over the world. And so the purpose and the mission behind it was simple. It's like we have an opportunity to impact lives, make the world a little bit better, and there's nothing more valuable to me than making the world a little bit better. And if I can use my gift for basketball to do that, that's incredible. So I have been able to find coaches like Jacob here and different people that share the same passions that I do, and we mobilize them and we send them all over the world and say, hey, let's make this world a little bit better. Let's break down barriers, as you can see. And especially in countries where sometimes reputation, is important. America, America and North Korea, that was complicated. But I figured if we can do that, we can do anything. So here we are.
Absolutely. So specifically about Pakistan, because obviously I think our viewers would like to know about this as well, that I'm sure you must have seen that there's phenomenal talent over here. So if we're equipping them with the right tools like you mentioned, they've got true potential to go places.
Oh, I agree. The potential here, I don't think it's an understatement. It's high. It's very high. But it needs to be, shall we say, organized. It needs to be directed in the right direction. And if we can just be a little piece of that to help students just somehow be like, hey, here's where you are. You're good. Now, can we get you to another level? Like we call our camps next level camps, because we want to get you to the next level of whatever that is as a player, even as a national team, as a country. How can we get you from youth to upper level, to club, to pro? Like, how do we get you to the next level? And the potential here is high. And I'm actually really excited. You can kind of hear it in my voice. When I got here, I'm like, okay, we got potential here. Ouj wasn't lying. I'm like, we got potential. Jacob has seen the potential. I think we're pretty excited. So, and honestly, Pakistan, you should be excited too.
Absolutely.
So,
and I'm sure they already are, and I think Ouij's phone's going to be ringing crazy from here onwards, but he's used to it by now. Ozzy's the man to go to if you want to get anything done in basketball, and he's actually the face of basketball for Pakistan throughout the world as well, with all the international certifications and his representations in various programs and various tournaments as well. But what are the numbers we're looking at, Ouj E Zahoor Saab? Because I think it's very particular that, Jacob has mentioned and Luke has mentioned as well, that we're trying to build a community that obviously will transform not only their game but will spread it forward as well. So what is the kind of participation that we've seen, and what are some of the specific details of this program?
Well, right now we have a youth group of about 30 students or 30 players who are a part of this training camp. But as you mentioned, my phone is ringing, I'm getting messages, and there are a lot of other youngsters who want to be a part of this. So the idea is to create this whole program and showcase it to the next national level and offer it to other units of Pakistan Basketball Federation. And Luke and Jacob, and they have a couple of other coaches. And maybe next time we can bring them to another city, maybe Lahore, maybe Karachi, maybe Peshawar, and then we can offer the same program to other cities and grow this whole community into a wide level of basketball improvement. As they said, my own goal is to take these things to the next level. We are at step 1, so we want to go to step 2, and if we are at step 2, we want to go to step 3. We have a lot of steps to go before we hit the top level, but we will not get there until and unless we start.
Certainly, but I think one essential part when we were looking at some of the specific details as well, that it's not just limited to the players, there are coaches joining in as well. So obviously those coaches will then obviously, they can go to various parts of the country, or if they're holding separate training camps. So that knowledge would keep on, going forward. So Jacob, that becomes a very essential part of that as well, that certain coaches are also part of the program, and then obviously they can do the work that you've already done and transform it forward.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, especially, I mean, we're not trying to change the culture and the dynamic of how people play basketball here, but if more than anything is like bringing a different kind of intensity, and maybe it's just equipping them in different ways so that they can, be able to train their players into becoming something more. And I think that's the thing that's super exciting to see, and who knows, maybe these coaches that are here can also go to these different countries and different nations that could also train and equip other nations to become even better.
And I think that, Jacob, you'd agree that the great thing about this sport that we all love, basketball, is that they'll be able to change not only their lives, but their communities as well. So they have tremendous career opportunities as a player, as a coach, as an official. They can probably, transform livelihoods of their entire community.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. It's been really cool to see, especially because I know Coach Luke has been thinking about even like future things and future plans of coming back to Pakistan, and like even these smaller areas that just may not necessarily have those kind of per se like opportunities. Like that's where like we can train and equip those coaches to go to these different areas and even create a bigger plan than we could ever think of.
Absolutely. Shall we name maybe a street after Coach Luke now, probably? If he plans to come back, why not a street after Coach Luke? Would that be appropriate, or do you want something to be even more grand? Maybe a statue of a monarch or something like that.
So I would probably prefer a statue next to the street name, personally.
Yeah. With a
but no,
basketball.
With a
and
basketball. But the truth is, we need one of Jacob, because people have been taking more pictures of Jacob since we've been here, and his pretty Korean face than mine. So maybe Jacob needs to have the sign.
Well, Jacob's already the local celebrity over here, but I'm sure that, you know, by virtue of this program, Luke, we can get some necessary branding done for you as well. You know, maybe we can put the word out that, you know, it's a guy who's almost getting a Hollywood star anytime soon. So you never know. Yeah. But that's the case. But Luke, particularly, I'm interested to know that once this phase of the program is completed, what's next, obviously, in the calendar of events for CTI Sports and then for Pakistan as well later on?
Yeah, so, I mean, CTI Sports, our calendar, we have multiple countries that we operate in, and so this is not our only project. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, I'm hoping to, you know, we're already making plans to possibly come back with new programs. Like I said, this is like, as Ouj said, this is step one. Once you get the first step going, once you get that first spark going, the fire burns. And as I've said, I'm like, we believe that this country can do so much. And like I said, I want to be personally invested. As they know, I'm married into a Pakistani family. So, and therefore I have to be invested in this country now. So
yeah, if you ever dream of going back home. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And by the way, hello to my Galut family and Basti Islamabad, and to my Chachi Nasima. I said I would say hi to you.
So all of us can say hi to Chachi Nasima. So
There
Chachi
we
Nasima,
go.
a big hi from all of us on Sports Extra. So does that give you
does that give me better? She cooks good food, so if that gives me more better food, that's amazing.
That means that all of us should get good food.
Chachi Nasima, you need to cook all of us food, okay? Please.
Well, certainly, but I think it's just great, you know, it's just a fantastic blend of not just, you know, sharing of knowledge, but culture and everything that's coming to life. But because we have these two celebrities over here, Mr. Ouj E Zahoor, I'm sure you're still the bigger one, but but how are the people responding now? Like both of them are mentioning that there seems to be a lot of excitement amongst the community at the moment.
There's a lot of excitement amongst the community. As I said earlier, we have a lot of inquiries coming in. People want these training programs to go to their cities. And I think this would not have been possible without the vision of the management of Pakistan Basketball Federation. I'm extremely grateful to the President, Brigadier Iftikhar Mansoor, and our Secretary General, Mr. Khalid Bashir, who allowed us to hold these activities. And you mentioned a couple of my personal achievements, and they are not my personal achievements. They would not have been possible without the support of the entire Pakistan Basketball Federation family. They entrusted me with all of these responsibilities, and I'm grateful that I was able to live up to their expectations, if not a lot, at least a little. And community development is one of the goals that we have through basketball, and that is what brought Luke and Jacob here. I met Luke a couple of months ago in US, and we talked about all of this program, and I was surprised that how much interest he has to come to Pakistan, especially after he mentioned that he got married into a Pakistani family. And it is his excitement that we are here. It is I'm grateful to Jacob and Luke both for coming over here, spending this time with us, and giving us this fire. They've lit this fire, and it is going to go a long way. So this is like a dominoes effect. If the first brick has fallen, now the more will come.
Absolutely, and I think on top of it all, Chachi Nasima rocks. So
yeah.
that being said, it's very particular when we look at the numbers as well, and we've had so many tournaments that we want to talk about as well. But Jacob, as a player yourself, it's a very difficult question to ask this, but once you see the skill and talent, I know a long way to go for Pakistani players, but at one point you have to have an indicator. So when we compare it with the international level or many other countries that are playing basketball or are in the phase of playing basketball, how do you compare the talent? I know it's a difficult one, but then again.
Yeah, that's a very difficult question, just because the different experiences that I've had and things like that, whether it's in Korea, whether it's working in the Philippines, Thailand, America, and even here in some places in Europe before, Yeah, I think at least specifically as a coach, like one thing that I look for is this eagerness to continue to grow, no matter what, whether you think you're the best player in the world or not. Like that's what I look for, is specifically someone that knows that there is always something to improve on every single day, no matter what it looks like. And then on top of that, of course, there's a set assessment that you can always have of like what your three-point shot percentage looks like, whatever your field goal percentage looks like, and even just like how well you can handle the ball and pass, things like that. But for me specifically, like one of the main things that I look for is like this specific drive. And then because if you don't necessarily have that drive as a player, you're never going to be able to succeed and grow better and better to even move to the national team or anything like that.
No, but there's a lot of love for this sport in this country. Although we're a cricket dominating society, but still basketball is a very popular sport. And I think the great thing about this is that a lot of grassroots level colleges and universities and schools have already got basketball courts, and they've got both girls and boys teams. So I think that's a great prospect for us to look forward to. But on a final note, what will be your message to your fans now, millions of them over here, out there? What's your message to all the young aspiring basketball players in Pakistan?
Oh man. I would say for all my aspiring fans, just continue to keep working hard and just know that you have a Korean guy like me that loves you. So 사랑해.
Certainly. Luke, what's your message to the young fans out there, the young talented people who want to come and join this camp, or maybe in the future as well? What's your message to all the community?
I think the easiest message would be the message I'm giving our players. I'm like, if you want to get to the next level, you need to develop all 4 parts of who you are. And we go over this every day, which is your body, your mind, heart, and soul. You can develop them all individually, but when you put it together, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we want to encourage everybody, no matter if it's basketball, volleyball, cricket, school, life, put it together.
Absolutely.
And get to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Jacob and Luke. I think it's been an honor hosting you as well, and thank you very much for your contribution, not only to Pakistan, but the entire Asian continent that we're looking at. Thank you very much, Ouj E Zahoor Saab, to you as well for making this possible. And I think one thing is for sure, that we've got a great future for basketball ahead. On that note, we go towards a short break. When we come back, we do our PSL special. Stay tuned.